Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Thursday, the 8th of April 2020. Small caps and cryptos are clubbed as bond and the dollar bounces. We're not quite at peak greed yet, but we are getting close, according to commentators there. FOMC last night, they signalled optimism of fiscal plans. Some officials fear stability risk. This is an interesting subhead. A couple of officials were worried that easy financial conditions were raising the stability risk. Gosh, this bunch of people are bright, aren't they? Incredible. I'd never have thought that myself. Never in a million years. Biden says infrastructure plan vital to keep pace with China. It's not about improving the US economy or the roads or the infrastructure. It's about keeping up with China. Do you think China is waiting around to invest in its digital infrastructure and research and development? I promise you they are not waiting. If this is a quote from Biden, it makes about as much sense as everything else that he actually says. So, wow, I'll leave it at there. Implied volatility. Yeah, this was down yesterday to 14.01, down from the previous day of 14.27. A very quiet day yesterday as the market waited for the FOMC statement. Really, then it was pointless. But prices were quiet. But we still got this low of 13.5 on the chart at the moment, and it could be taken out, as I'll show you in just a moment. News today, we've got unemployment claims, and Powell is going to be speaking at 5 p.m. there. And the yield, well, it's been hammered down as we've seen during the last 5 days, and still showing that sort of downward trend there, as we can see. So the yield under control at the moment. So let's have a quick look with the Dow. This is the Dow. Yesterday you can see how quiet this was, but still holding above that 5-bar moving average as well. The recent high, all-time high of 33,613 is still intact, but given the price action overnight and the look of this at the moment, we could see prices taking out the high there. It depends what Biden says later this evening. And in the DAX is a similar picture. We closed below the 5-bar moving average yesterday, but notice how narrow the range this bar is for yesterday. Very, very quiet. In fact, we probably got 50% of the range overnight already for the DAX for the total of yesterday's range. And again, looking to get back above that 5-bar moving average and back to the all-time high of 15,367. So interesting to see what's going on here. I'm just going to move this over a bit, because what I want to do is to measure the strength back up to the recent high here, well, all-time high as well. And when a market starts to turn, you will get a situation where it comes down, goes back, fails to close above the all-time high, and then start to head to the downside. So I'm going to draw this in on this chart, and I'm looking for the market. The trigger will be the 89%. So I'm just going to remove a few of these fibs here till we've got a clear run. Very difficult to see because of the vertical move that we've had in the DAX, but I'll just spread this out a bit so you can see and get a better picture of what's going on there. So yeah, these fibs here are going to be crucial, and if I just drag this one out of the way, you'll be able to see them now. Just make a note of these areas of resistance should prices continue to move up, but in particular the 89% there, 15,344, because the passage of time is showing me towards the end of a move. This doesn't matter whether it's a minute chart, a daily chart, it doesn't make any difference. But what's really pertinent to the daily chart is that it can be the set the trigger for the correction in the market. So that's why I'm showing you this. I've seen this so many times before. Same on the downside when it completes a move as well, but in particular trying to push back up above an all-time high is incredibly difficult when there is not much news. So that's why I'm bringing this to your attention. Let's have a look at the 2 minutes overnight. Not a lot going on. We can see that prices opened, traded up to the previous day's high. No, it's not the previous day's high. That's a new high that this market's put in on the overnight, which is quite odd. It's the previous day high wasn't taken out. Oh, it was. Sorry. Yeah, I'm cracking up. I'm thinking of the all-time high. I'm thinking, well, I didn't get there. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, so we traded up to the previous day's high, not the all-time high. And you can see the support there at the 200 MA and the DP level, the daily pivot. Market traded sideways on here. It's like a magnet, as I said many times before. Back up to the high. And again, the high becomes a resistance, and we're back at the high at the moment as well, with a bit of an increase in volume there, a bit of selling around there at the moment. Again, we'll have to wait and see what the futures market brings when it opens at 7 a.m. But here's your targets that you can see here. The R2 on the upside at 291. How does that tie in? 291 is a 62. Between 62 and 78, should there be some sort of resistance in this area. That's why, because it will be a 62% retracement in the daily chart. Okay, let's have a look at the metals and the dollar, see what's going on in these markets. We'll start off with silver. Didn't go down yesterday. I mean, we could see there was some weakness, and at the moment it's pushing already, taking out the high of yesterday and heading towards the 62% retracement, that 200 MA there holding prices. So just a quick look, there you go, you can see that silver moving to the upside, having had a bit of a shakeout on the overnight back to the $25. That's what this red line is, it's $25 per ounce. Here's your retracement there, and then we've moved to the upside. No idea why. But this is the same for gold as well, as you can see here. This is heading back to 89% now from this move from the top there down to the recent low. Needs to take out the 1750 level, really psychological level. But yeah, these two both moving up quite nicely there. Silver needs to take out the 20 bar moving average as well. So I'm surprised by this. It's slightly unnerving when I see the market actually doing this, because I'm not used to seeing this at all. So let's have a look. Just try and bring this in. So this is the recent. There you can see that I bought in down at this level. I've got the stop at break even. I think I may move this up just to protect some of the profits now, because it's moved quite well there. And it's so easy to do, and just move the stop up. I'll just move it up to there just to lock in some profits just under the support there, and try and get it underneath the 200 MA, which should become a support going forward if prices continue to move today. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the dollar, because this must be moving down. It's showing some resistance there. It's below the 200 bar moving average now, and there are the downside targets with this as well. So not impressed by what the Fed said last night. It'll be interesting to see how it reacts to what Powell has to say during this evening's session then. So yesterday, let's have a quick look. The market really quiet, very frustrating morning. The market had a bit of a move in the futures. As you can see, they opened and moved to the upside. Not a great lot. And then prices drifted back, and we see the market spike up, and it's not as big as move as you think because of how quiet it actually was. So yeah, the market moving up there, and let's just fast forward, then coming back and not moving at all. You can see that each one of these grey lines is 12.5 points, so you can see how quiet it was when the market opened. And then we had another buy signal turn up. This time it was filled, and I'm just going to go through this. You can see it was holding at the 5 bar moving average. So we're sitting at break even on the stop as prices started to show some selling pressure, which you can see here at the DP level. So there we've got an increase in volume compared to the previous bar, where the volume was less, but the range is far greater. So there's hitting some resistance there. There has to be if we've got more volume, and that alerting me to say, well, it's time to exit the trade. So prices then moved to the downside, but came back 50%, and then back up to 89, what I was talking about in the daily chart. comes back up to 89%. That's what we're looking for. And then prices moving to the downside, and that's, like I said, when we're looking at the daily chart, that's what you're looking for. Works in any time frame. Now we've traded back down to 62%, down to the previous day's close, and the 200 MA is in the way, and the 62%. Given how quiet the market had become, I decided to jump out of this trade, giving back some of the profit on the upside. It was just so quiet. I mean, these two bars, once you take these two bars out, the rest are really, really quiet there. So, and this proved to be the case as prices just traded sideways, bit of a spike in volume there, and then again prices just trading sideways till we had another buy signal as they tried to bring prices up here, but no volume. And then immediately the market turned and reversed. And it seemed to set a precedent then for the rest of the morning. It was just dire as prices traded and just drifted to the 200 MA and the close there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at this or boring you with it, because you can see how the volume just dropped off during this time. It must have been waiting for crude oil and for FOMC yesterday. In the afternoon wasn't much better, as you can see there. There was a lot of volume to start with. There was some resistance on the upside. Bit of weakness in the Dow helping to bring prices down. You see we came down to 62% from here to here and then projected back. And then prices becoming range bound. Again, you can see coming up to that 89%. That same thing again, down back to 89. And then the market waiting for the news on this occasion. But again, you'll see how that plays out a lot. Market did move higher after this because we had the crude oil figures, which we'll see in just a moment. They came out at minus, what was it? Minus 3.5, which you can see down here. So there was a shortfall in crude oil of 3.5 million barrels. And then the market managed to move up to the close on this news, and crude oil bouncing obviously, and then prices just trading sideways into the end of the session. However, after this, if we just go back to the 2-minute chart, let me just reset this, you will see that after 4 p.m. all of a sudden the market started to sell off there and move to the downside. Not a lot. I mean, you know, between each of this, the blue and the red line there is only 50 points, so about 35 points, 37 points down to here. Then you've got retracement there before prices were then brought back, which you can see before the end of the Dow session and into the, this is the end of the Dow session there, just going into the close. So let's have another just quick look, see where we are. We're still sitting above the high, bit of weakness around at the moment we've seen, and still a bit more. So it'll be an interesting day on the daily chart, see if the 5-bar remains as resistance and prices start to move south, or we head up towards those highs, and in particular the 89% retracement. But we'll see. We could have a down day or an up day. It's just a matter of watching what unfolds once we've got the futures market open in the next 10 minutes or so. Okay, that's it for this one. As ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.